Hello.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Brendan. I'm here with John. We are going to wing it today because we don't know what to talk about.
Well, did I ever tell you about my Viagra addiction?
No, you didn't tell me about your Viagra addiction.
Yeah, it was the hardest time in my life.
Oh, oh my God.
Anyway,
Yeah. So anyway, I'm thinking about starting, possibly,
mm.
possibly starting another podcast where on the podcast I help solve world problems.
Oh God. I mean, that's awesome, dude. That's really cool. We should do that.
He
I mean,
says, "Oh
you.
God." Yeah, because I talk to people sometimes, and they've got ideas, and I'm like, I am fed up with you telling me your fucking ideas to an audience of one.
Mm,
You are
mm,
gonna start telling those ideas to more people because I'm
mm.
sick of your shit. Something like that.
I got something that comes up for me about that. It reminds me of a friend of mine I was talking with about environmental change,
Yeah.
and I grilled him on it because he has strong opinions and beliefs about it, and he's like politically active and stuff. And uh, he could not answer some questions, and
Right.
my questions were essentially was why is it important to you? Because it's he's concerned about environmental change,
Yeah.
and it wasn't one particular species. It wasn't one particular environment. It wasn't one particular area of the planet. It wasn't
Right.
particularly the whole planet. It wasn't anything. Like he couldn't answer that question. And I remember my dad telling me that a lot of the national parks in the United States were formed, they were created by Roosevelt
Heard that.
to set aside conservated conserved areas for the
Yeah.
purpose of hunting and camping and so forth. And that saved more wilderness than just about anything. And it was setting aside particular areas of land for particular purposes. It's like we want to hunt these kinds of creatures. We need to keep their numbers at about this level. We want this kind of forest, these kind of trees to grow. We want them to be about this age. Like it was very particular.
Yeah.
And because of that, it created very positive action plans that were, doable. And and I tried to get like, from my friend, hey, what's your goal? And there was
Yeah.
no goal. It was just like we're going to take all of this drastic action. We're going to reduce our carbon emissions. We're not going to drive in cars. We're not going to have gas stop stoves. Everybody's going to have to limit their, consumption of this and that. Eventually, we're all going to need to eat insects. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like pretty extreme stuff. Can you tell me why? Well, we've got to lower our environmental impact. We've got to lower our carbon but why? And I think if when you're talking about changing world problems, you've got to identify what the change is that you want to affect. And if you don't, you're just talking out of some kind of ideological framework, like an ideal, and it's a psychological thing. It ain't the real deal. You're not actually gonna. You might change a lot of stuff, but will it be positive? Well,
What do you mean, or what's your
I suppose what I'm
what
saying
are you
is
saying?
that if you wanted to have a podcast like that to address world problems, and I think you would do this, it would be to address problems from the standpoint of we're going to have clear goals. Like if you want X, then we need Y and Z. But we start with if you want X. We don't start with just we're going to just do this to do this.
Right. Yeah, I don't imagine that it would go that way. And again, this is an if
Hmm.
this even occurs, which it may or may not. But yeah, I don't think I would do it and not state like here's what needs to happen and why
Okay.
it needs to happen,
Yeah.
because here's a big fucking problem. Like, for one example might be there's a water some parts of the US have water problems. They don't have enough water. Other parts
Mm,
of the US have too much water. We already
mm,
pipe oil. Let's pipe some fucking water. How hard is that? Is that hard?
mm.
Is that hard to do?
Well, you might go over private property and indigenous land and
Oh,
military bases and who knows what else that other people need, and it might cost money, and it might
oh yeah.
take political will.
Yeah, all that shit.
Mm, yeah,
And I'm sure, yep, and oil companies don't do that already. Sure.
yeah, but they make more money. I mean,
Right. I think that, yeah, see, then therein lies the challenge. Like, I was thinking about, I was talking to somebody, and she's really into chihuahuas and would love to have a chihuahua rescue, right?
okay,
And it's like, to save the dogs. Some people have that with animals, like, I want to save the
yeah,
dogs. But then in terms of working it into a capitalist system, there has to be the money thing.
you've got to market chihuahuas. You got to make people love chihuahuas.
Yeah, there's got to be like somehow money's got to mix in there so then it can keep going, or like, non-profit organizations, like, how do you make it profitable? That's if you're in a capitalist system. But then again, um, I heard that companies making rockets here in the States, they get big fat government checks to do the
Hmm.
rockets.
Yeah, well, if the government's got a vested interest in something, they're willing to pay for it too.
Yeah, and wouldn't the government maybe have a vested interest in water for its people in
Maybe,
places? Like, imagine.
maybe. I
Nah, it's
I
not
wouldn't
good
I
for
wouldn't
politics.
I wouldn't say that's a foregone
Yeah, I
conclusion.
don't know about taking care of people. I want my political power, but I don't think taking care of people's,
Just
maybe it's on the menu.
necessarily,
It's
yeah,
like, do
it
we need
really
that?
depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll definitely say it, but
Yeah, that gets me going, dude. When I think about politicians,
Hmm,
and well, okay, not all politicians, to be clear, but the blah 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 don't do,
hmm,
or I'm gonna talk like this over here and like this over here, no integrity. That drives me batshit, and I'm like, why do these people have the power?
hmm,
Why did we vote them in? Why?
yeah.
So I think my gripe or my issue is the why don't it's that we can't, that there's lack of trust.
Mm, hmm.
That's my problem.
Yeah, what you mean, like a lack of trust in the U.S.?
In just like, say, in news.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
why is there a lack of trust? Well, it seems that there is, like, back when I heard about some history that politically we used to trust the government.
And
And
the
the
media.
government and the media and the
Yeah.
government and the media, well, as far as I can tell, the government used to do the right thing. They would do their best to work together to do the right thing. But then I fucking can't stand this. Like, I don't know, when Nixon, the Watergate shit happened. It's like they're breaking into a democratic place, and it's not Democrats versus Republicans in this case. It's just like, that's just what happened. It's like, why is a politician doing bad shit?
Hmm. I think
You know,
politicians doing bad stuff is more the rule than the exception. And the
yeah,
exception
they fucking
was,
shouldn't. They
yeah,
shouldn't
but
do bad shit.
but have you ever heard that phrase, like politics is politics? How does it go? I don't know. Politics is war. or like basically politics is just the talky part of war. It's the extension of war.
Oh, I've never
Um,
heard it spoken like that before.
yeah, well, I'm butchering it, but it's something like that. Um, like the founding of the U.S. was seen as a radical experiment, but that
Anyway,
was
I'm
the
just
experiment. I think what you're saying is, why can't politicians be good? And my thought is, why can they be good? What allows for them to be good? Because I would tend to think that it's the exception, that people that are really into politics are
I
good.
think I think the only what allows them to be good. I think the one issue with being good. I think I tried to figure this out when I was younger. Is there's no way to hold somebody to account to things that only they can hold themselves accountable for.
Mm,
You know, in a system where people are free to think what they want to think
hmm
and feel what they want to feel, there's no balance. There's no balancing force. Like within us, we have the capacity to do evil. And some people take that up more than others.
yeah.
You know, and then so I feel like I'm on the side for good, you know, and I've also got my mind as best I can in the right, what quote, right place. But then how do you figure out right from wrong? It's like ultimately there's nothing right or wrong about any action, but it's just when we live, you know, Hitler fucking wrong,
Yeah.
Stalin fucking wrong, you know, doing shit to that's illegal for personal gain in politics for the wrong reasons, wrong, you see. But then what, that's like what, a moral compass? And a moral compass is a social structure.
Um,
Like I don't know, fucking the Knights of the Round Table.
mhm. I watched a video today. It was by RFK. It was one of his like presidential speechy weechy things. And I saw somebody had a placard, and it said, I want Camelot. And I think it's that desire for what you're saying, a virtuous government,
Yeah, do
which is
like
hard to come
fucking,
by. Like Camelot was this, like, it only lasted for a little while. It was this great thing and it was gone. And Athens, we talk about Athens. It was this great thing, this democracy, the founding of democracy. It was very short. I think it was like just a couple generations that they had democracy in Athens, and then it was gone. And then
right.
the U.S., the kind of U.S. that you're talking about, the kind of U.S. that I think you love, and the kind of U.S. that I love, before this giant, bloated, corrupt government that's obscure and you can't figure out what's going on with the media. uh, that was also short-lived, and a lot of people are trying to get it back, and a lot of people think it's just gone. And that's why I'm saying, like, I think the exception is putting it together in such a way where there's transparency, where there's honor, where there's honesty, where people are respecting one another. I think, unfortunately, that is very hard to come by in large groups of people.
Yeah,
One-on-one families,
maybe.
okay, it's doable. Even
Yeah,
families, it's really hard.
one on one, maybe. Yeah, that's a fair point. Because like when I think about stuff like like I hear stories, right? You know, Peter's mentioned stories, and then I also considered like the what we call the greatest generation.
Hmm
Like, oh, there's a country in need. We'll go fucking fight and bleed and die for France. Even we're coming. We got you. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. That shit gives me chills. It's like, that's fucking badass. But then you think about also during that same greatest generation, like, oh, you want the greatest generation, but then it was like pre the 50s. So there was some like old school thinking that I maybe wouldn't agree with. Like, you know, if you're going to go hang out with a girl, you need to keep a foot on the floor if you're sitting in the bed, or like some old religious shit like that. Like, you know, in my mind, right? Perfect world. Let's take out the bullshit. Okay, all the religion can fuck off and do blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't need to live a certain way, but shit like honor, that's good shit.
hmm
Do we have that now? Nah. Integrity.
Yeah.
Integrity seems pretty good. You keep your fucking word. Hard to do? Yeah. Worth it? Yeah. I don't know. Those things, like the principles that really stand out. You know,
Mm.
what are some others that are really, like, honesty? You don't steal people's shit. How about that? You don't kill people. How about that? You help somebody who is in need. You help them. What That's probably from Jesus, like some these bright ideas. Love thy neighbor as if they were you or something, right?
Yeah, love thy
Like,
neighbors as thyself.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
like are these are good things? Are they not? Like, then they seem to make good shit. Like what? And then from myself, like being on a team is good. Not
Mm.
being solely self-focused, a solely self-focused experience, not ontologically speaking. Ontologically speaking, it's all self-focused, but like within this relative world, not all totally about me. I'm sure there's stuff about being a parent that is empowered you because you're not stuck on your own shit. You have to live somewhat for another human being, and there's power there. There's like something that helps you grow up,
Don't you?
you know? Like,
What
and
about
then sorry,
what about
yeah, like
psychopaths? What about psychopaths? What about sociopaths?
yeah, they can just that they don't fit into that structure.
They don't, but they do. That's what I'm saying. Is like
It's part of, yeah. So there is, yeah, there are these
they're
like,
included in this whole thing, and
yeah,
it's really advantageous if you're a smart person who has no sense of shame or guilt about taking advantage of other people, and you have plenty of ambition for your personal whatever,
yeah,
and you will, and if you're smart and savvy and you can figure out other people, you have a tremendous advantage in arenas of competition. And politics is an arena of competition.
right,
And I think that the percentage of people who are in high levels of power who have psychopathic tendencies is probably much higher than the percentage of people who are plumbers or florists, like flower shop owners who have psychopathic tendencies. I just don't see as many folks doing that work, you know?
right. So then, right. So then it's like, well, how do you account for that? Because all the stuff that I've been saying is good shit,
Yes.
and it's true, you know. So then, and the system is dependent upon people who are in power making good decisions for other people
Yeah.
and being good people themselves. Like, I think that's one reason why Bernie Sanders is so popular, or like he lit people up, is because he is, to his best of his capacity, a man of integrity. Like, when he means what he says, he's not fooling anybody. You know exactly where he stands. And that's like, we're like, finally somebody who can, a politician who's actually like okay. And nope, that in that sense. And it's like, I don't know where I was going with that. So then, right, how do we solve for fucking psychopaths? I mean, my first thought was like, well, just round them up and fucking kill them. I guess you'd probably have to kill me too, because
that would make you a psychopath.
that would make me a bit of a psychopath.
It's a forever problem. It's a forever problem.
Yeah, it's hard to hear your voice.
It's a forever problem. It's there's no perfect solution to that problem. It's one we're always faced with.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you? Yeah, so now I start to see like some of the complexity of like, how do you set up a system of government that actually works? I mean, democracy works, but it depends upon certain things like trust.
Yeah.
Wasn't it you that brought up the last time we were talking, or one of the times, where in countries where there's no more trust,
It's
what,
easier for dictatorships to have control. Yeah, trust. Like I think it was.
like, just look at relationships.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I don't trust you and you don't trust me, we're adversarial. There's no like, I can't rely on you. I can't just be trusting that we're going to work out.
Yeah, yeah. We can't have a mutual relationship. It's got to be adversarial.
Yeah. And we
I
have to like trust this. I mean, I'm not saying that in order for it to work out, in order for us to be able to solve for those like curveballs, like psychopaths or people that do not go along with the normal social programs, which you're going to have that,
mm,
it's like they're just fucked in the head and they're going to do bad shit because they can. Um, what's a system that would work? I think
I don't
trust
I don't
is
I don't think
crucial.
there is a perfect system.
No, there's
I've
perfect principles,
yeah,
but
and then the
whether
systems are going to
people
have to be
align with
different.
this, whether the things continue to align to those principles is another story.
Hmm.
In a sense, like, yeah.
I have a thing I want to be transparent about. Um, I I think, and so just be my bias currently, the way I see things in the world currently, and maybe some people will think I'm crazy, but I think most of our seeming disagreements about politics,
Oh,
and I mean yours and mine, are due to the fact that we primarily listen to and read different sources. And so we get different windows, get different perspectives, we get different narratives. And not all of that, but probably a lot of that is by design. So my hypothesis is that basically a lot of the seeming conflict between the left and the right in the US is constructed as a distraction to make people think they're fighting each other while the real psychopaths continue to have power and continue to grow their power, and they're very happy to have blue and red squabbling over bullshit while they don't care about making sure that water gets to any particular part of the country.
right.
They,
Back to
they
the
care about they care about making that an issue that they can use to their political advantage. They don't care about the people in Ukraine. They care about making the war in Ukraine work to their political, financial, and power advantage. Um,
yep. Again, back to
and
you. Yeah.
so for me, I think it would be a good exercise. Like, you've got this different take on Tucker Carlson, and I should probably go listen to some more of the critics of Tucker Carlson. I've listened to a little bit, but not a lot. Um, but that's my hypothesis. I think that for most Americans, the majority of the, like, fuck the Democrats, fuck the Republicans, even fuck Trump, fuck Biden, because they're like kind of personified in those figures right now, is mostly not actually what's really important to most people most of the time.
Yeah.
Um,
No, if we
and
look,
that's not just bullshit like let's all be friends. That's like,
yeah,
I think there's worse, nastier things, much worse and much nastier things in power that actually have way more power than we give them credit, because we think the puppets are the power. The puppet stories, the puppet media. Why isn't media trustworthy anymore? Because it's not objective, because it's selling so and so destroys so and so. It's not objective. It's inflammatory, and it's made to piss people off one
because it gets
direction or the
clicks,
other.
probably.
Yeah,
That's
and
the other side of it.
yeah.
I think here's another problem. News these days, it doesn't it's like designed to get people's attention. If it
Mm,
bleeds, it leads.
mm-hmm.
So then I think part of that's probably maybe a problem with the capitalist system, is that the news has to make money. If the news didn't have to make fucking money, what would they be saying? Because if they have to make money, then they have to get people's attention. How do you get people's attention? You tell them about violent, crazy shit. Like, oh, did you hear about the fucking crazy thing that happened to me the other day? You're interested, right?
Hmm.
Did you hear
Hmm.
about the coffee I drank yesterday? It was out of a silver mug.
Hmm.
That's news. That's boring. Anyway, I suspect that's an issue too. But I don't like. I don't know about this podcast, man. This might be a bit of a flop. I'll put
Well,
some content out.
just,
I think. I have thoughts. I think we're all getting like. If we're gonna be the United States, we gotta fucking unite. Okay. And we're not the divided states of America, but we're headed that way. So if we keep going, we might have us another civil war. I don't fucking know. Yeah.
I bought a sweater the other day. It was picking up static electricity.
Yeah.
So I took it back, and the guy gave me another one free of charge.
Thank God.
Hmm.
Thank God we've got comedy.
Yeah. I heard about a guy. He was attacked by a shark. It ate his whole left side. I couldn't believe it when they said he was all right.
This motherfucker, we're talking earlier before we hit record, and he's like, "You lived in Hawaii, right?" And I have lived in Hawaii. And I'm like, "Yeah, I lived there." He's like, "Well, is it good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of, you got to like get into the vibe, and it takes a while, and the islanders, they don't really like fucking mainlanders, and so it took me a while to get into the vibe." And he's like, I heard laughter's not allowed over there. I'm like, "No, really?" He's like, "Yeah, you can only do aloha."
All of these are
Fucking,
stolen, by the way.
oh, that's fine. That's fine. See, he
Yeah.
played the long game.
I wish somebody would tell me what IDK means. Every time I ask, they just say, I don't know. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think the truth is, man, like I'm drinking coffee and I have this like I'm so frustrated by some idea that stuff isn't going right at a country level.
Yes, I agree with that.
And
At
I'm
a
like,
world level.
yeah, at the world level, I'm like, what the motherfuck are we doing? What are we doing? What the fuck is going on? And
Hmm.
and then I feel powerless to do anything about it. Because like I feel, it's just like because like what a politician, they get in office, right? Maybe they're trying to do good. Oh, yeah. You good? Yeah. C'est bon? C'est bon. They're trying to get into office. They're trying to do good. They're trying to do, but the whole system doesn't work, or these competing parties. And it's like, you fuckwits aren't working together. You're supposed to run the goddamn country, run it good. Let's go. But no, we can't do that. We can't have nice things. We can't fucking, we can't. We're not like, why? Why not? And maybe it's because I can see a possibility. Like, I understand the power of certain principles and how freeing they are and how it could make a difference and how we could, if we all fucking got or pulled our head out of our asses, like at a country, at a world level, we could fucking do some good shit.
Brendan,
But
I think
no,
that's the illusion.
yeah.
We don't all need to do that because we all have never done that. It's always been a relatively small number of people who have done that.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, for example,
and they've still been effective.
The times when we did do that, like World War II was a time. Everybody in the country was like, let's get the fuck together and make some shit happen. And it's like, what? Yeah. But that's because we're facing an outside threat, and there's something very motivating about potential death. you know. And then
Mhm.
we all get together, and it's like, yes, we're united. Or like when fucking Twin Towers got hit by planes,
Yeah.
all of you New York was like, we're working together,
Yeah. But
and they
then,
fucking did.
but
And
yeah, but
and cops were like, wow, I don't know what's going on here. Like some cops talking about, okay, it's finally returned to normal. I finally had my first people flipping me off in the street again. Back to normal. But you had
Mm.
everybody helping out, you know? Like now imagine if we just did that to do good.
Imagine there's no heaven. It isn't hard to do.
Ah! I'm so frustrated. See, but then it's like an ideal, of course, because there's fucking psychos, and we can't just fucking kill them all.
Nope.
Ah!
Okay.
And like, I just want to. And people have problems with gay marriage. It's like, fuck you. Let people get married to who they want. Fuck you. And you got, oh, you can't do this because of religion. I'm like, fuck you too. Just, anyway, thanks. I had to do that.
Okay.
Probably gonna
Keep it all.
just
Keep it all.
He wants me to post the entire podcast.
This you could label it the best video we've ever done.
This is unedited.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so then why can't we do that? But then again, historically, every culture has come, had its heyday, it's died. The Egyptians were like rose to power, done. Babylonians rose and done. Rome rose, fell.
So
The British Empire.
if you're in a jiu-jitsu match and you are standing and somebody takes you down, what do?
You fight them on the ground.
Yeah, how?
With jiu-jitsu.
You form a new structure. You create a guard, or you stand back up. If one system, a bigger, stronger system that's more ideal, fails, you fall back and you create a new structure that's based on
being effective.
Yeah, I mean, you can get back to your feet. I'm just saying, like, if the center cannot hold for the whole U.S. and the whole world, I mean, that's going to be some dark times. But it may fall in various ways. Different things may fall, but that doesn't mean that new structures won't form and that they can't be based on solid principles.
Yeah, and I think we are doing our best to do that. And also, yeah, true. Yeah, I'm with you. And Buckminster Fuller said, yeah, if it's hard to correct an old system, but sometimes might be easier, and I'm paraphrasing, to just create a new one. And that new thing can then, because that's what the Declaration of Independence was. It was like a new thing, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like fixing an old system. It wasn't taking an old system and changing it. It was, no, we're going to do something new. And maybe that's like the way ideas form up too, like Galileo back in his time, the way people thought about the earth was the center of the universe, and he's like, here's something new. It's not. And then they almost hung him for it, apparently. So they're like, here's something new. Here's a new idea. No more religion.
Oh, good Lord.
Good Lord, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a new idea. You know what religion is? It's made up.
Hmm.
You can make up whatever you want.
Yesterday, my doctor told me I only have 6 months to live. I told him I couldn't pay the bill. So he gave me another 6 months.
Fucking asshole. See? Doing the wrong thing again. Ah! Battle! Fucking. Ah! John, I think maybe you just need to come over here and we need to roll because we got mat space. They're not being used. And I'm a little amped over here. Fuck.
I don't want to get hurt, man.
I think if we rolled, you'd be the one doing the hurting. I know what it's like to roll with you, and you're pretty good. You're probably better than me at this point.
I don't like rolling with angry people.
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't hurt you.
Well, bro, maybe we've just highlighted some of the problems and feelings that we have about these issues.
Anger.
And later on, we could turn to possibly more constructive ways of looking at them.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't know how I feel about this one. Yeah.
I got one for you. Is it possible that any attempt to impose the perfect system in a world where evil is a very real possibility and is actually a foregone conclusion that it does and will continue to occur, that the best we can do is be courageous and do what's in front of us, the best that we can do. Like, we're not going to create perfect systems. We're not going to create a Shangri-La.
Yeah, right.
And you're never going to get rid of religion. You're never going to get rid of all the sociopaths. It's not going to happen. And if you inspire a new religion because you were brave and transparent and had a lot of integrity and clarity and you could see and you had the balls, the courage, the heart to lead people in a positive direction, that thing too that gets created will become corrupted.
Yeah, it'll degrade.
Guaranteed. And the only thing to do is just to pick up where you are and do it again.
Sounds valid. Is that a quote from somebody?
Me?
Did you just make that? That's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, you heard it here first. That's from John. Yeah, that seems to be because it is a relationship. Like it's an ongoing relating. Just like fighting is a relationship or surfing is a relationship. You relate to the board, to the wave, and it's chaos, but then it's controlled chaos kind of thing. It's like it's chaotic, it's organic. There's weirdness. I guess we do, like, in the name of being honest or as honest as we can, we have to acknowledge those facts. Hi.
Chaos.
Yeah. Chaos incarnate, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, tell Brendan about your dodging.
Oh, my dodging?
Yeah. Or about your Legos.
What
or your
happened?
chocolate or your chest.
I heard a motorcycle tried to run you over. Is that true? I heard. Hello.
He heard something.
I heard that a motorcycle tried to run you over. What happened?
Well, I jumped out of the way. That was all.
He jumped out of the way. Hell yeah, I heard about that. Good work.
It was on a sidewalk, by the way. Not where it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. See, kids are present. I just got to tone it way down.
Ow. Stop.
All right, I should probably get going.
Okay, dude. Yeah, that sounds fine. You're gonna when's our next one? Do you have a time that we can schedule?
I think we can do this time next week.
Perfect. Tuesday?
I think so.
We've got apprentices or Thursday.
I'll double check.
The consciousness apprentices arrive in 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Thanks for talking to me again. It looks, dude, I like what you got going on. Keep it up.
Thanks.
You're doing good, dude. Almost there. It's a process. Bye. I'll
See
catch
ya.
you later. Ciao.